minute. Once this has gone live. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. It's going great. Hello, everybody. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Ashel, I see your hands up, but so you'll have to type something in the chat if you wanted to get our attention as we get cracking on there. If you can lower your hand, that'd be great. Great. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. This is the first of a series of 3 webinars dealing with the B2B matchmaking program, which we'll be running at Summer Fancy Food. If you don't know me, if you don't know me, my name is Rex Bowden. I'm from a company called Catalyze. We do events and meetings. And we are the appointed service provider for the business matchmaking program at Summer Fancy Food Show in New York in June. Today's session is really focusing on what matchmaking is all about. So we've got some presentations. Myself first, it's going to give you an outline of how this matchmaking program works and the benefits of it. We'll then have our US partner, Florentina Bardun, that comes in and prepares us for the US market and US buyers. Florentina does a lot of work with us and sourcing buyers over the last few years. And she knows a lot about what buyers really want to know from you. So great insight from her. And then we will run a panel at the end where we'll get a various buyers that are involved in past matchmaking programs, and they'll give their advice on how to get involved and what to do within matchmaking. So great. As mentioned, I'm going to take you through B2B matchmaking advantages. Just so you know, before we go, this is available in French. So you are able to click a little button called interpretation at the bottom, and it will take you into French. So please click on that and go ahead. If you're having any issues, Cindy, if you could just write a little note at the bottom so people can understand that they can get this interpreted into French and translated, that'll be great. So just, what I'll take you through today is just an overview of B2B matchmaking, its various advantages, and how we make sure that really enhances your participation at international shows. I wanted to get you guys comfortable with the team, so we're going to just introduce you to the team, and so you know who they are, who's going to be calling you, who's going to be out there at the show with you, and doing all the work behind the scenes. I'm just going to then take you through sort of the steps that we follow to ensure the matchmaking program is a success. And then really let you understand how our matchmaking program works, showing you a little bit about the tools that we're using. So the matchmaking system, scheduling system that we use, and a web page that we use as well. And then we're going to just have a look at sort of various challenges, and then a quick Q&A session for you if you've got any questions. Please note, questions are something that you need to type in the chat. So please make sure you put little notes in there, and we will address them at the end. So firstly, meet the team. Really wanted to introduce you to these 5 great people, excluding myself, and what we are going to be all doing for you. So from my side, I am a meetings expert and events expert. I'm known for being quite bullish and getting out there onto shows and meeting lots of people and rustling them into meeting with you. So a lot of the stuff that I do on the sidelines is going to various events and chatting to people and getting them involved in African products. So I was out at Expo West earlier in the year, got a huge amount from there, but I've been doing it in many other shows for many years. So I'm the guy that's going to be at the show, running around, speaking to the other exhibitors and getting them involved. The project lead on the program is Cindy. She comes from many years of experience working with Catalyze, also very experienced at being on shows and organizing stuff, but she is leading this program and making sure that buyers are involved, that we're profiling all the exporters, that the buyers have an easy place to see all the exporters as well, and really making sure communication with you guys is the top of our priority. A key to any matchmaking program is communicating with the buyers and sellers of a program. Our key partner in the US that we'll also be speaking to today is Florentina. She has been sourcing buyers in the US market for about 20 years. Very well experienced, works for many various companies doing matchmaking as well, like ECRM. She runs her own company called Grow Global now, and she has helped us with quite a few great programs where we've got the likes of Walmart, Costco, Loblaws, some really great retailers involved, as well as awesome distributors. So yeah, it's great to have Florentina supporting us on the program. Supporting Cindy within some communication of the program is Dantea. Dantea will be out at the show with us as well. She's really dedicated, hardworking, and I'm sure you would have most likely already had a call from her. If not, you will have one over the next few days. And so, yeah, keep an eye and ear out for that. And then supporting us out in the US will be Penny. So Penny's also been with Catalyze for many, many years. And she's been well experienced in handling our meeting programs at Africa Games Week for many years, and on top of a lot of other events like Professional Beauty and Africa Health and various other things. So she'll be coming and lending her support out in the US just to make sure the whole program's running really smoothly. So just an overview of what B2B matchmaking is. So what really is B2B matchmaking, and the point of it? So it is really finding the right buyers for the right sellers and making sure that they are meeting. B2B matchmaking is always really led by the buyers. So please be very aware from that. And I want to make it clear. It always ends up being that the buyer is the one that is telling us who they're wanting to meet. Of course, every exporter and seller in the world wants to meet with the key buyers, but unfortunately, it always does come down to really the buyers telling us, okay, we will happily accept a meeting from these people, or we want to meet with this company. So a key part of what we're doing at the moment, and I'll show you this just now, is creating a really nice little website which showcases the companies and what they are doing so that we can speak to buyers and connect them with you and set up meetings. But really, business matchmaking, the key for it is, as mentioned, communication and making sure that the right people are meeting each other. As mentioned, facilitation and communication is key. So what we found with a lot of business matchmaking over the last few years is a lot of events have incorporated matchmaking systems, but they haven't facilitated them. So they're just allowing everybody to go on those systems and hoping that someone sends a request and a person on the other end accepts the request and the meeting happens. And we're finding that over and over that has become an issue. So facilitation of these matchmaking programs is key. And that's what my team will be doing. We're a bit of a bully on this, and we really control the programs that we run. And that's why we send people out to the show. We facilitate them. If there's a meeting that drops out, we jump in, we find out where that buyer is or that seller is, and we make sure those meetings happen. We're constantly on the ball and making sure things are happening throughout the program. Of course, there's a much better enhancement of and efficiency of finding the right buyers. So that is something that we're doing in the background at the moment. We've got about 20 buyers already that have signed up to the program, and many, many more that are coming through. And we'll just show you some of the other stuff that we've been doing over the last few months. And it's just making sure that we are getting the right buyers coming to you guys at the event. So we're not just waiting around hoping that someone walks past the stand. We are making sure that they come to you and forcing them over to you. It obviously is a much broader network of buyers. So other than just the buyers that are coming to the show, we are inviting them come down. We're getting them special access into the events and really making sure that they're there and doing a good job of coming to you. It's also driving them just to the African pavilion. So that is a key thing with buyers. They often come to an event and they don't actually come to certain places of the show. So we're going to be making sure that they do come to you. There's a huge amount of time saving on your side as well. There's not where you have to go out to a market and go and source people. And we really want your feedback. If there's a certain buyers that you want us to target, please come back to us. Tell us who these key buyers are that you want us to target. And we're spending a lot of our time assessing what exports are going through between Africa and the US at the moment, and sourcing buyers from there. We're doing a lot of calling of retailers and distributors and making sure they understand that there's opportunity for Africa to source from Africa. So a lot of that is being done on our side. So really saving you guys time to make sure that the right buyers are coming over to you. And then, yeah, there's just a massive enhancement potential through these collaborations. So, so much more is happening by communicating with the buyers first and getting them interested in you, so that when they eventually meet with you, they know what they want from you. So that is really where we see an enhancement of making sure those collaborations move a lot quicker. So what have we been doing in the last few months? We started this, we sort of kicked it off in February. And the first thing that I did was get out to an international event. So I went over to Natural Products Expo West. It was a great event. It was super exciting for me to be there. I thought it was only an event for the West Coast, but when I went there, it really, my eyes were open and there were buyers from across the whole of the US. Super exciting show. And I walked that show. I did every single hall. I passed every stand at the show, some of them 3 or 4 times. I met with every exhibitor I could at the event and tried to source as many buyers as I could as I walked the show. So that was an amazing experience. And I've got a list of about 130 buyers that we met out there between exhibitors and buyers walking the show. We then went to Supply Side East, and our partner Florentina in the US visited Supply Side East and met a lot of the exhibitors there, and also found some of the buyers walking the show. So that was super exciting, again, just as visitors. And then last week, we actually had our own stand at Sweets and Snacks in Indianapolis. So that was an exciting development. For years, we've been sending exhibitors to international events around the world and putting them on stands. And what we did here is we actually booked our own stand and paid for our own stand and sourced buyers from that. We had some products that were on the stand and managed to get quite a lot of good leads from that as well. So those have all gone into our bank, and we are contacting them and making sure that those buyers are coming to Summer Fancy Food to meet with you. If they're not, we will also be within this program. It is a 12-month program that we're running. So if they're not coming to Summer Fancy Food, we will be setting up one-on-one meetings with you if those buyers are interested in meeting with you. So we are, and those will be virtual meetings that we have online on a Zoom call or MS Teams or whatever works for the buyer. So a lot of sourcing of buyers going on at the moment on various programs. One to add on there, we are working with a consultant where we really look at opportunities using the platform called Panjiva, which allows us to see what exports are going on between countries. So we're able to find out what buyers are buying things in regions. Doesn't always work, but it's really a great platform for us to find smaller distributors and buyers in the US to try expand that. So quite an exciting development that's just over the last few days. We are obviously starting to commit buyers to come down to Summer Fancy Food, as I said, and just commit them in the program, commit them to get interested in Africa as a region to source. So that's a huge amount of the next step, and making sure that they say, yes, we want to get involved. Yes, we want to be a part of this buyer program. We are then, as mentioned, profiling everybody. So by everybody, I mean, we're profiling all the buyers, we're profiling all the sellers, we're profiling all the associations that are coming. Anyone that can be profiled, we're making sure we've got a great profile of them. You'll see that on that link that allows you to fill in a form and give us your logos and your information about your company, which we've pulled all together. But a lot of our time at the moment is really profiling everyone, so we can share that information when a buyer or seller wants to meet with each other. We are setting up a matchmaking system at the moment. It's actually set up, and I'll run you through that just now. Just allows us to schedule those meetings very well for you, and I'll give you some insight into that just a little bit later. And then we are really profiling people so that we've got the right criteria, and that really helps us making people. So putting them into their categories and making sure that ability for you to filter, or buyers to filter you as an exporter, so that they're meeting people. So if a sweets and snacks buyer wants to find the top 20 sweets and snacks companies that are part of the Africa Pavilion, they'll be able to do it in a simple way. Buyer communication is very key, and that will continue out over the next few months. So that is consistent and something that we do. So please keep onto that. And then it's all about follow-ups and making sure that business is happening. So part of our contract is that we're not only out there at Summer Fancy Food and running this program, but post that, if there's another buyer that maybe didn't come to the event, or wants to have a second meeting with someone, or really wants to drive a new opportunity, we will be able to schedule one-on-one meetings on Zoom for you guys, or MS Teams, or whatever platform's needed to make sure that people are meeting again. So great. I want to take you through this. We have set up a website that allows the buyers to source through your company. So it looks like that. Let me just stop share quickly, and let me show you that website. Get it out. Why is it not going? Share this with you guys. So it's a great little tool that we'll be using. I'm sure some of you have been in it in the past. I'll share my screen now. Okay, here. Okay. So we're currently in the phase of profiling everyone. So this is what the website looks like. You'll see there's a few companies on here. We're just pulling people's information. But basically, we'll be able to click through, and each of you will get a page that looks like this with information about what your company does. If you don't like something on this page, please message us, let us know. We'll adapt it for you, but we're basically using information that was pulled through on your application. But please, yeah, let us know, and we'll share this link with you afterwards. By the end of this week, all of your companies should be up on this platform. So by Friday, it's been a bit of a task to get everybody's information together, but you'll each have a page like this, and the buyer will be able to put in a little bit of information or request a meeting. So this is the first step of the whole program, to really get buyers looking at you and thinking about you as a company. As mentioned, the buyers have quite a nice option of putting you guys into groups. So that's categorizing you. So if they clicked on beverages, for example, would pull up all the companies to do with beverages. Same with herbs and spices. If they click that, it would put the herbs and spices people together. So anything that's under your profile, and please try and play with this. If it doesn't pull up right, and you say, oh, we also do herbs and spices, and it's not pulling us up on this, let us know. We can't do things unless you don't tell us. So please let us know about that. It also allows you to buyers to select by country. So we do that and make sure that the country is pulled up, and the companies from each country. So we know that certain buyers want to look in a certain market for things. It will pull information up on that. That is always done. So that is a little website that we're using. As mentioned, please feedback to us if you've got any issues with that. All right, let me click back into share screen. So that's the first step. And as mentioned, by the end of this week, it will be up and running for everybody. And please don't be shy to getting information updated on our side. So how do we run our matchmaking programs? So first of all, we manage the system. So this is what we're doing with the matchmaking, the web page that we're doing. But the next step is we set up a matchmaking scheduler. We use an online system that allows you to engage. It is a closed system for now, and it will be closed for quite a while until we get enough buyers and sellers up there, and we get all the criteria right, and we start setting up a certain amount of meeting. You might ask why we do that. Well, we do that because once buyers go onto a platform like this, they need to see that there's a certain amount of companies on there that are of interest to them and get enticed by using it. If they go on there and there's not enough information, it doesn't work. So we do that. We also make sure that we manage the system as well and set up meetings in a way, because that is key as well. Managing people's time is key to a facilitated program, and it really makes it run well. So we know that everybody's super busy. No one likes to go and learn how to use another system. So we really control it for you. And up until about 2 weeks before the event happens, then we'll open it up and you can start having a look at it. We are communicating with all the buyers and sellers, making sure their information is correct. So that's also duplicated on that web page that we're doing. So there will be very similar information. Said we'll schedule the meetings. We, as mentioned again, buyers can tell us who they want to meet with exhibitors. We can set those up. If you see a buyer that you think that is the person for me, contact us, tell us, we really want to meet with this person, and we will go to that buyer and say, this exporter is really keen on meeting with you. I really think you should have a look at them because they've got this, and this that would suit you. Would you be keen? And we'll come back to you on that. So just so you know how the system is set up, buyers can request meetings with sellers. So you as an exporter, African exporters, buyers can request meetings with you on the system. Digitally, they can put a request through. The reverse isn't true. Sellers cannot request meetings with buyers. And we do that because we don't want buyers to get inundated with 165 companies all asking things. We lead with buyers in these programs. Unfortunately, buyers are kings. And if we upset the buyers, they disappear, and we can't have them disappear. So we're very, very cagey with our buyers and making sure that they're happy. They're number one group of people to be happy. But another thing that you can do, and a huge opportunity we've seen with the matchmaking programs and events overseas, is that sellers and sellers, African exporters and African exporters, are doing a huge amount of work together, and there's a huge amount of opportunity. Every time we send a group overseas to an international market, we find that a huge amount of business happens between exporter and exporter. So we are opening that up to you, and you can request meetings with each other on your own. So please go ahead with that. If you're not sure how the system works, let us know. Our team is very used to working on these programs. So please communicate with us, and we'll help you set up those meetings if it's with another seller and you can't do on your side. So please just communicate with us. And then, as mentioned, we will have a team of 5 of us out at the show. We know how these programs work. We've done about 20 in the past. We know that you've got to be flexible. We know that you've got to have support on the ground, and we'll make sure that everything's happening for you. As mentioned, this is the matchmaking system. Again, I'll stop sharing and then I'll go into that system for you so you can have a look. But it's a very simple platform that allows you to make meetings with people and assess people, and it actually it connects you with like-minded people. So someone that's interested in spices, if a buyer is interested in spices and you do spices, it will immediately pair you up and show you which are the people to do. This is in development at the moment as well, but I can show you where it stands. But it's a great system that allows us to make sure we're getting the matches right, and we're running schedules. Once the system is up and running and we've had all the meetings set up, we will send you a meeting list. So you'll get a list of these 10 meetings are happening at these times. Meetings will be happening on your stands. If there's a major issue, we will be having an area to have those meetings off your stand, but really all meetings are directed at your stands. Let me just stop share. I'm going to try to pull out that matchmaking platform. Let's see. Second. Just bear with me. Where's it gone? It's with me. Sorry, everybody. Coming through. Load up. All right. Let me show you this. How much time we got? Ooh. Okay, so just a quick view. This is what the system looks like. If you click on matches, It will like, mind, match you and show you what your percentage of your matches. You are able to search people here as well, buyers, African exporters, etc. So you're really able to scroll through this. As mentioned, about 2 weeks before the event, this will be live for you to have a look and see what different buyers are on and different people on the platform. You can search by name, target industry, etc. So it's a very nice platform allowing you to see what's happening within the program. It allows you to see what meetings are made. So it'll give you your schedule and tell you what times things are happening. So, but we also manually send this kind of information to you. It allows you to play with your profile. We'll set all your profile up for you, but if you want to change something on here, you could change something as well. So it really just makes everything work for you. And when meetings happen and they're scheduled, you'll get contact details of buyers. So your buyer will come through and you'll know while you're on the show, you can actually have this on your phone and you can say, okay, this is the meeting that's organized and this is the buyer that's coming to meet with me. And it will actually show you the contact details of that person. So a very nice system. But as mentioned, we manage this for you in the background until it's up and running and you've scheduled a certain amount of meetings, and then it will go into the program. Cool. So that's that. Then just to finish off, I just wanted to quickly give you an outline of challenges. So yes, matchmaking is not everything simple. There's always are things to get over. But one key thing is making sure you follow the schedule. So please be aware that certain meetings are happening in the morning. Get your schedule out on your phone. We'll actually give you printed schedules as well. We're bringing a printer with us and we'll give them and say, these are the meetings happening for the 3 days. Please keep on top of them. Try to stick to that schedule. Make sure you know that what time meetings are coming to you as well. Because nothing worse than the buyer rocking up and you sort of saying, no, I'm dealing with someone else. Make sure that you know that they're coming and expecting them. Make sure you're finding the buyer, and the same for buyers for looking for exhibitors, that you're finding the right place to have that meeting. As mentioned, all meetings are happening on your stand. If you're an exhibitor, that's where we're focusing it. If you're not an exhibitor, then we'll have another area, but you come and speak to us and make sure we know so we can sort that out, communicate with us. And if you need to reschedule, that's what we do. We can reschedule meetings for you, but no, it's less likely that buyer is going to come through to you. So there is a possibility of doing that. To get over this, contact the team, communicate with us. We love hearing from you. It's when people are silent that we don't like things that are happening. So please make sure you speak to us. Utilize the system. Don't be shy. Once it's open, get on there, learn how to use it, play with it. It's very simple to use. So get on there and don't stress. If something's not working for you, don't stress. Just give us a call and we'll sort it out. Okay. Best practices for matchmaking. Make sure that you had a little research on the person that you're meeting. You want to know what to talk about before they come there. Make sure you've got a list of questions and topics you want to discuss with buyers so that you know the right questions. What is their minimum order quantity? What are their current prices of their products that they're getting over there? What do they require from you in terms of certification and stuff? And Florentine is going to go over all of this stuff with you just now. Have something to give them. Please get business cards. Florentina mentioned something. She was at the Sweets and Snacks. So many people didn't have business cards. If they don't have business cards, take a picture of their badge, but at least have your own business card to give them. Don't miss out on that. Don't think this is a digital age when you don't need business cards. Technology works, but it works until it doesn't, and then you've got nothing. So make sure you've got a business card you can give to someone. Have a little QR code sitting on your stand where someone can take a picture and link to your LinkedIn page straight away. Have a little sample that you can take with them or a little snack at the stand. So make sure you have that. And please make sure you take notes. So we're on our page that we give you of all the meetings, we're going to have something where you can write a little note on each person. We're going to take that from you at the end. And make sure that we put it into a spreadsheet and we'll send it over to you at the end. But take little notes so you remember what these people are all about. Then quickly, just to finish off, don't forget, these are the key people for you, Cindy and Dantea. They're going to be calling you, chasing you, on top of you. They got to be at the show. They're going to be making your life awesome. Just make sure you communicate with them. They are your most important people. Awesome. So Florentina is our next speaker. Just want to make sure she's here. Let me have a look. Florentina, have you joined us? She might not be co-host. Let me just double check. I can make her. Let's see Florentina. All right, Flo. are you with us? Your co-host now, you should be able to put your camera on and your mic on.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm
Ah,
here.
awesome. Great. Hi,
Hello,
Florentine.
nice to see you.
Brilliant.
And nice meeting everyone, and thank you all for joining.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Florentina. So just to do introduction to Florentina, I mentioned something a bit earlier. Florentina has been working with us for quite a few years now, and as mentioned, some amazing buyers that she's brought through to our various programs. She's highly skilled in business matchmaking, so really understands it. She's been doing it for many, many years and across multiple industries, and really knows how to find awesome buyers and make sure that those buyers are meeting with companies. She does it for many other countries around the world, and we're lucky enough to have her to help us with the African Pavilion this year. So I'm going to hand over to Florentina now. I'll stop share. I know she's got a nice screen to slide deck to show you, and she'll take over and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Just give you
Let me
permission.
share my screen.
Try now. It should give you sharing options now.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it. If you can go to full screen. Yeah,
Is it
awesome.
better?
We can see that.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Florentina.
So, as Rex mentioned, my name is Florentina Barden. I am with Grow Global. I'm located in the United States, and our company mainly does consulting, either working with different associations or directly with suppliers to help you grow your business abroad. So for today, I prepared a little presentation to go over the US market, the opportunity of the US market, same with Canada, which are the two markets we are focusing for this event, and then some of the trade show do's and don'ts, and the same for meetings. So US, as many of you know, is one of the largest markets in the world. A lot of opportunities here, and just to showcase that, this graph kind of matches each state with the country, so you can kind of see the population and for each state, and ultimately the opportunity. In terms of gender, it's quite equilibrated, but I hope all the statistics that I'm presenting today, it's finally going to help you kind of target who are the buyers you want to talk to, get a better understanding of the market, and be able to prepare for the meetings and the show you will be attending in New York. So even if it's a large country, population is highly, it's higher in few different states. So if you look on the East and West Coast, and also look at California, Texas, being some of the states with most population. Same on the East Coast, looking at New York, you have Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, again, states that have high population in the US.
Florentina, just
Yeah.
1 second. Can you? I think I was very quick in my presentation as well. Because this is being translated, if you could just slow down a little
Oh,
bit,
okay. Yeah,
and then they
sure.
can translate a bit better for us. Thanks.
Okay, definitely. In terms of racial diversity, mainly US has Hispanic, white population, Asian, and African American. And each of these maps actually shows where these populations are have a higher density. So these matching these maps with the rest that are presented are actually going to help you focus on few key retail chains for your business. US market potential, food retail revenue is expected to be 830 billion in 2024. Largest segment is confectionery and snacks with 135 billion. Also, an interesting statistic is that 13% of the revenue is expected to be generated through online sales. So when looking at the US market, there's always this discussion where do you want to wait for a distributor to pick up your product? Do you want to work directly with the retailer? But the constant growth in e-commerce sales shows that even going with your product in the market, using a fulfillment facility or maybe renting some distribution space, a warehouse, and working through e-commerce is going to help you set up in the market. A quick overview of the different food retailers and their formats. So there's a lot of grocery, conventional supermarkets, which take most of the space in food retail. There's also super centers, which is like Target, Walmart. They have more than food in their stores. Club stores where you need a membership like Costco, Sam's Club. There's the natural gourmet stores like Whole Foods, which everyone, usually international companies are very attracted, and that's one of the top companies they all want to work with. Also something specific to the US market, we have military commissioners. So these are stores dedicated just to veterans and people working in military. Sometimes they are discounted just because of the people who frequent these stores. Then you have the discounters like Dollar General, drugstores. Drugstores are also a little bit different than what you would maybe see in Europe or other parts of the world. It's only just a small part of the store that actually has over-the-counter and prescription, and most of the store has personal care, beauty, and quite a few snacks. So a lot of the aisles are dedicated to snacks and some frozen food. So those are the drugstore. Then you have the convenience stores, which are mainly located by the gas stations. Ethnic stores, this is again an interesting market for international companies. So both US and Canada have ethnic stores. Stores focused on different markets like an Italian store, European store, then you have African stores. So those are good markets for you to introduce your products, and most of the customers will already be familiar with your products, as they probably are expatriates or just different demographics specific to that area. Then you also have specialty stores like bakeries, meat markets, candy stores, e-commerce, which we touched on, and then the vending machines. So all this is forming the US retail environment for food products. Looking at some of the US grocery retailers, and I know some of you have ingredients, so maybe keep this in mind also because they do private label. So there's also a chance for you to work with some of these top retailers. However, for ingredients, there is a separate market where you are mainly targeting ingredient and raw materials distributors in the market. So for US grocery retailers, Walmart, still the top one in terms of revenue. They have over 10,000 stores. However, not everything is food in the stores. Kroger, which is the largest grocery store in the US, they do have Kroger stores, but they do have other banners like Ralph's, Dillion's, King's Cooper. So there's quite a few of banners going under Kroger. Costco, which is a membership store, is one of the top 591 stores, huge stores. They usually package everything in larger packages than you would find at a regular grocery store. So packaging is considered to take into account when targeting Costco. Albertsons is kind of the second largest grocery retailer after Kroger. They also have different banners along with Albertsons. Publix, which is mainly focused in the Florida area, over 1,000 stores. Delhaize, which has different banners in the US, HEB, headquartered in Texas. Then you have Amazon, not only e-commerce, but also they purchased Whole Foods. So they made it to the list through the Whole Food stores. And finally, Target, which is again like a department store. They have more than food in their stores. And the last one is Meijer, and Meijer only has about 200 stores. However, it's these 200 stores is kind of a nice spot for the US retailers. So you will find a lot of retailers having around 200 stores in the US focused on different states. So that's kind of a sweet spot, and the list goes on and on. The retail environment in the US is so diverse, and I have another map here kind of showing you few different chains and how they are focused in different markets in the US, in different states. So you have the national ones like Sam's Club, Target, Walmart, basically having stores everywhere. And then you have chains that are focused in few particular areas, like HEB, you will see them more in Texas, Harris Teeter on the East Coast, Publix, Florida and the nearby states. Save-A-Lot again on the East Coast, Aldi on the East Coast. So Giant Eagle, Pennsylvania and nearby states. So it's really a very diverse market, and it's good to know some of these retailers. You will see many of them walking by at the store, at the fancy food show. So if one of them is your target and there is no meeting scheduled with them, it's good to know more about them so you can try to engage in a conversation. When approaching the US retailers, there are a few different options, right? If you want to work directly with them, there are a few different challenges. Um, they do, most of them, they don't keep too much warehouse space for everyone to host their products there. So a lot of them expect delivery to the store. So you still need to work through a fulfillment center. Another thing when working directly with the retailers is they need to, yes, they do have a larger margin, but their considerate is how many people do I need to allocate in the day-to-day activities to make sure the shelves are stocked, and how many people need to, take product from the warehouse, put it on the shelf, make sure everything is supplied and running smoothly. So if they are not willing to do that, or if you're targeting mainly smaller boutique stores, independent retailers, another option would be to work to distributors. And I included for today two of the top ones that work with international products and also work with both large retail chains and independent smaller stores. So one of them would be UNFI. You can also see that they work with over 11,000 suppliers. They also have their own brands. They have 55 distribution centers. So, and work with both independent and some of the top retailers in the United States. Also to consider, when working with some of the top retailers, a lot of times they actually have a person sitting in the headquarters of the retailer. So they do have a direct contact working every day with the buyers. So a lot of time it's going to be a different process if you work with UNFI, let's say, targeting large retailers, and if you work with UNFI targeting more of the independent, smaller boutique shop retailers. Second one is going to be Kehi. They have 11 distribution centers. They also work with a lot of international companies and cover the entire US in terms of retailers. They work with large retailers, but also independent ones. So this was meant just to give you an idea and start you thinking about how you want to approach the US market. What are some of the conversations you will have when meeting the buyers, whether it's distributors or retailers. Few other things to note when looking at the US market. Um, as Rex said, you do need to research. The entity responsible for compliance in the US is FDA, US Food and Drug. They have quite a comprehensive website, and you can get a lot of information from their website. Again, you need to research for your specific products. There are different regulations for fruit and vegetable, dairy, meat, and seafood products. So you do need to review everything in terms of label compliance. In the past, probably 6 or 7 years, US had updated the labels, which did not happen in quite some time. So make sure your labels are compliant, facilities are registered with FDA, and then check packaging claims. A lot of the conversations when looking at the US market and reaching out to FDA, you need to make sure health claims, nutrient content is compliant with FDA. And then finally, Incoterms. So who's gonna who is covering the insurance, the freight, the transportation cost. That's something to keep in mind when talking with each of the retailers and considering the US market. At the end of the day, just keep in mind, I would just say you do need to be flexible. So I know everyone needs to be profitable. And definitely you don't need to go beyond that. But you do need to show flexibility if you're looking at the US market, right? There is a lot of competition, a lot of companies approaching the buyers. So you do need to show why would they end up working with you versus a competitor. So be flexible and approachable when talking to the buyers. A little bit about Canada, again, a very interesting market. Most of the population is in Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia. It's also a more simplistic market versus the US, and they are a lot of times better prepared or more open to work with international companies versus the US. In terms of ethnic groups, you have the Canadians, English, Scottish, French, Irish, the list goes on and on. A very diverse population in Canada. And all concentrated in few different provinces. When looking at the food retail environment in Canada, again, very simplistic. They have 4 large retailers: Loblaw, Sobeys, Metro, Save On Foods. There are others, of course, but these ones pretty much make up the most of the market. Another attractive retail environment in the Canadian market is through independent retailers and also ethnic stores. Now, Canadian market regulations. The entity you need to consider for this market is Health Canada. They do have high restrictions in terms of labels. So along with what we talked for the US, so specific regulations regarding alcohol, fruit and vegetable, honey, maple products, dairy, the labels are really important in the Canadian market. So whether you work, let's say, in a ethnic store, they might be okay with you having a label stick on the product. In the retail stores, you actually need to make sure your label is compliant, which is just French and English and nothing else on the label, and make sure you follow Health Canada regulations. Going over some do's and don'ts from a trade show, and as I was talking to Rex after the sweets and snacks show, it was the environment is definitely changing. So very few of the buyers are actually carrying um, business cards. So be prepared, have a system in place where you are taking notes, taking pictures of their tags, and also asking directly for an email address or a way to follow up with them. Sometimes it might be connecting through LinkedIn, but definitely have something, a system to take notes and make sure you know how to follow up with them, because they do meet with hundreds and hundreds of companies. So if they are collecting your cards, there is a chance they might not get to it once they go back and try to do their follow up, and mainly just rely on people reaching back to them. So keep that in mind. Promote your attendance in advance. So definitely announce it on LinkedIn and through the different social platforms you are engaging with. Promote your attendance, invite people to visit your stand. Have few conversation starters, right? So we did review some of the retailers in the US, and you will see some of them walk by. So have few different conversation starters, how to engage them, where it's asking them about a unique ingredient you are using, or asking them to maybe try a small sample, um, or noticing their tag, and you can say, can I walk with you to your next appointment? I just want to introduce myself. And there will be some that will definitely say no, and that's how it goes. But the others will respect that you're just trying to do your job, you're trying to present your product, you did a great investment coming to New York. So they might give you a chance to introduce yourself and the company. Then listen and take notes. Definitely you will have also quite a few meetings, and don't rely on your memory in terms of follow-up. So definitely take a lot of notes. And then once you go back to the office, definitely follow up. Um, and make sure your follow-up is personal, right? To relate to the conversation you had with them. And definitely don't forget to follow up. We can do and help with the introduction, but it's always up to you to do the follow-up. Some of the don'ts, don't push literature and samples to go necessarily. Not everyone will want to walk around with 20-pound bags full of samples. So another idea would be, well, can I put together a sample pack and send it to you after the show? And that's going to wait for you at the office. And also keep in mind that just because they are walking by, maybe somebody scanning their name tag, that's not like a newsletter subscription. Okay, so we don't want to invade these people's email and send an email every day. You do your personal follow-up, you wait a little bit, you follow up again, maybe you give them a call, and then you follow up regularly every time you have an update from your company, right? But don't make this as a newsletter subscription where we send an email every week, whether they want to receive it or not. So wait for some feedback, and be mindful in how you do the follow-up. And another thing I want to mention from the past trade show that I attended is, especially in the first day, I saw a lot of people walking, because they have different color for the type of buyer or the type of visitor you are at the trade show. So a lot of the people walking by were wearing a supplier color badge. And we were like, well, what's going on? Why is it so many suppliers walking around? And it's actually a different system there's in place where suppliers can actually provide some of their tags to retailers. So just be mindful and treat everyone the same at the trade show. At the end of the day, you do want to promote your products. You want to gain more interested customers and not only clients. But keep in mind that there might be a buyer wearing a supplier badge. So you want to engage with as many people as you can. Don't sit and work on your emails in the booth, instead of be upfront, be approachable, invite people to taste some of your products and look at your information. And also one other thing I want to mention here, a lot of times the buyer's eyes go first on the table and then look at what's behind you, what's behind you in the booth. So be mindful of that and make sure both your table and also the booth space behind you clearly represent your products, right? So you want them to quickly look at the table and get an idea of, okay, what type of product I have. Not something confusing, just very clean overview of what you can offer and what you can bring to the table. And finally, during the meetings, be mindful of the time you have available. Focus on the products the buyers expressed interest in. So we do know that you have other products and you have a rich history, and you have a lot to back up your company and the products and how you came to the market. However, the time is limited, right? So we need to be aware of the time and make sure we give the buyer enough information for them to make a decision. Okay, do I want to continue the conversation with this company or not? And if we do continue, okay, maybe that's a time where you want to give them more background. But initially, make sure you give them the information they need to know you, information they need on the products they showed interest in. Also leave time for the buyer to talk and ask questions, show flexibility, as I mentioned before, and again, follow up, right? Don't expect them, okay, I did the introduction, now I'm going to wait for them to follow up. No, you need to send a thank you note. You need to follow up and make sure you reminded them why you had that initial interaction. Don't spend too much time on company history, and then don't leave the meeting without having concrete follow-up steps, right? So maybe it is, okay, I'm going to send you an email, we're going to send you some samples, and then I'm going to wait to hear from you. So know exactly what the buyer is expecting, and what are these follow-up steps. So this is pretty much what I wanted to go over. I don't know if there are any questions, or Rex, if you want to take over and move to the rest.
Awesome. No questions. Oh, there was some question for someone that has never attended the Fancy Food Trade Fair. Will there be someone from the Catalyze team that are consistent preparation as far as pitching when B2B meetings are being conducted? No, Malika, you are going to have to pitch yourself. We're not going to be there to sell your product for you. So please make sure you practice your pitch and know your product. This is something that you're going to have to do. We are not going to be sitting in each meeting with you. By facilitation, we mean that we're going to make sure that your meeting happens. If for some reason a buyer doesn't attend, you can come and talk to us and say this buyer hasn't come. We'll get on the phone, we'll chase the buyer and make sure they were there. But yeah, we're not going to be sitting in every single meeting with you. We're going to be sitting on the sideline and making sure those meetings are happening. So please be prepared with your pitches. So there was also two questions from on my side earlier on, just regarding to the website that we're creating for everyone. Yes, you can have about 3 or 4 pictures on there. It is limited because we've got to keep it quite standard, and there is a link to your website, so they can click across over to your website. So I would update your own website with images and stuff like that as well, and choose the best 4 pictures. Do we only have access to the B2B matchmaking platform once booth and insurance costs are paid for at our end? At the moment, from what I understand, yes, that might be a question for USA team to confirm. But please, we are uploading people that we have been told have been appointed and confirmed for the program. So keep an eye out for that. If you happen to get appointed and be contacted by us, then yeah, happy days. But I guess you're going to have to take that up with USAID at some stage as well. So please make sure you do pay for your booth and insurance fees as soon as possible. All right,
There's
someone's drawing
another
on our
question,
screen.
Rex, if they are allowed to sell products at the event. No, you should not try to sell products at the event unless you are just, promoting your items, but don't sell to actual people walking by. Like each sample that you brought, those are not sellable at the event.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally on trade shows, it's not possible. It's not really allowed to sell your product to people. Look, you can get away with that kind of stuff and paying cash, but generally buyers aren't looking for that. They're not interested in that. It's not their thing. They are wanting you guys to make deals with them for a larger orders. And it's not really the buyers that you should be meeting. You should be meeting buyers and having conversations with buyers that do want to have meaningful long-term engagements that cover the customs and everything that comes with the cost of your product, not just one or two little items. That's not going to make any dent in anyone's business. And then, yeah, regarding white label conversations, yes, we do have something on the site that says, do you do private label? So that is mentioned because that is a key thing. And Florentina has been speaking to a lot of buyers who are asking about private label. So that's great. Awesome. Thanks very much, Florentina. I don't think any other questions. If there are at the end, we will address those. There's questions of how much do we recommend we bring in terms of samples. Enough to fill your section of your stands. I think you get about 3 or 4 shelves. Make sure you bring those. You will be able to give out samples during the event. So make sure you have enough samples to give to 200 or 300 people that walk past your stand. You make sure that you make nice little small samples, so you're not giving out big bottles of whatever you're selling or big bags of stuff. Put it into little bite-sized samples so they can take. People don't really like taking and carrying huge things around shows with them. To be honest, I go to shows all the time, and people try to give me, and Florentine mentioned, like pamphlets and all this stuff. Those things go in the bin. People can look you up online and find your information, or they expect you to drop them an email. So if you're going to send them a sample, they want to take a sample, something nice, small and delicate that they can put into their bag and take with them, maybe with your business card attached to it. So keep, I think, search section. Okay. Thank you very much, Flo, for your time. So just so you guys know, Flo will be out at the show really helping us with everything as well. And a huge amount of work going on. Before that, she went out to supply Side East and met with a lot of people, as well as sweets and snacks, and has got some great context from there. So thanks, Florentina, for your advice. And also just to mention on Flo as well, she's always giving great ideas of what you should think of when you're sending us stuff. We've done a lot of programs where certain exporters have sent stuff overseas, and just how to package your stuff nicely, things nicely, make sure they get into the buyer's hands looking good, and that you do the right follow-up and you provide the right information. It's key things within making sure your business is coming together and people are buying from you. Great. So the next is, and thanks for your patience, Swaroop, Anita, and Serge. We were hoping to start this a little bit earlier, but there's a lot to digest from my side and Florentina's. But we have a final little panel for everyone just to get to understanding what happens in matchmaking programs and how important it is to and know to ask the right things and what buyers may be asking you or what you may need to be asking a buyer. So this is really key. So firstly, I will be emceeing this, and we'll be joined by Swaroop from Blue Star Direct. He came out to our event in South Africa, Engage Trade Africa last year, and did some great business, a lot of stuff with fruits and nuts and various things like that, and commodities. And then Anita Palmer will join us as well from Global Brand Management. Anita has years of experience in connecting the right brands with the right retailers and partners in the US, and she's doing a great program at the moment that I'm sure you'll all want to be meeting with her at the event, and really driving product into the US market. At the moment, specifically from Africa, as a key focus for her. And then joining us from South Africa will be Serge. Serge is from Dynamic Intertrade, and Serge has started doing a load of stuff over the last few years off the back of programs that we've run into Africa, finding and sourcing new products. He does a lot of stuff in the spices sector, and really driving a lot of product from Africa into South Africa and into various manufacturers over here as well, but also looking at international markets. So great to have Serge on board with us today. So let me just stop share here, and we'll get these guys on camera. So we've got Serge, Anita, and Swaroop that have joined us now. So thank you very much for your time, guys. Let me just have a look at the speaker view over here. All right, great. Awesome. So yeah, firstly, I'd like to just to start with each person introducing themselves and then just giving us a little quick message about what they've done in the business matchmaking space in the past. So, Anita, if we can ask you to come on first, just introduce yourself quickly, and then better than what I've done, and just some experience you've had in matchmaking.
Sure. It's very nice to meet everybody, and thank you, Rex and team, for hosting us and for making this possible. I'm located in the U.S. Our company, I'm the Vice President of Sales. Our company's expertise is bringing in and developing brands into the U.S. market. B2B has been an excellent sourcing resource for us. It's helped us to catapult and launch into new sectors and categories such as health and beauty. We've really enjoyed these events. We've participated in 3 for the African region. We've been able to grow into cosmetics and into different categories that we've not been prevalent in before. So we've noticed that in these events, we've been catered to exactly our specific needs, which we appreciate. We've also partnered with the South African Chamber of Commerce here in the US. We work hand in hand with them. We've run programs where we waive our retainer. We've been doing very big projects to start promoting and expanding the trade and growth from the African region. I know this is short, so I can continue after, but we have to let the other counterparts go. So please, to the next person.
Pass on to you, Swaroop.
Hi everyone, this is Swaroop. I'm from Blue Star Direct LLC, and thanks Rex and the team for inviting me for this event. So last year we visited Cape Town, and that's where we started, like on the South African region. We were doing business matchmaking in West African region for quite some time from 2019. So like when we started, like we got to know some companies from Mozambique. We started doing trades with them, and we did like substantial volume last year, and we are continuing to do this year too. And with South African companies, like mostly for nuts, mostly for dry fruits, we are getting more, like we are expanding more into South Africa. So this year we are just had a contract with some of the companies around like 25 containers for raisins. And we continued growing on the spices area from Madagascar. So this was the first time we imported any spices from that region, and it worked pretty well, and it's continuing to grow. So we did 1 container, and then we have second container which is getting loaded maybe this week or so. I don't know exactly, but this week or so. So what I learned, or what was the impactful, what happened last year was like I was able to interact with a lot of suppliers, and I got to know what are key products from that region, and which helped me to socialize those products into US market. And we got a very good response, and we are able to sell those products pretty fast. So I think that was like very beneficial. Like the business B2B meetings were very helpful. Just to give another side of the story, when we started B2B meetings with West Africa, not through Catalyze, but with Trade Hub. So now that partnership has gone into different levels. Now there are some suppliers which are working with us, and we are setting up a new unit in New Jersey for roasting. So we will be doing the marketing for those people, and the suppliers from West African region will be putting the factory in our warehouse. We'll do the roasting because they have expertise into those products, but we have expertise into marketing in the US region. So those are the partnerships they work, and these are like these were done mostly by B2B meetings. And I think like our whole business has grown based on the B2B meeting. And really thankful to Catalyze and Trade Hub specifically for West African region. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Farouk. And then Serge, just quickly from your side as well, just some insight into what you're doing and some matchmaking that you've done.
Yeah, I like to talk to everybody about us as a boutique spice company down here south in Cape Town. I'm relatively new to B2B meetings. I met Farouk when I first time attended on insistence of Cindy, USAID delegation that came from SADC region, I believe that was Madagascar, Mozambique, as far as Malawi. And in this year, besides traveling quite intensively around South Africa, I collected these. You know, these are the business cards from B2B meetings in a year that I have collected. I can't say that we dealt with all of these companies, but there's a great potential. And I don't intend to turn this around because you never know what life brings to you and what curveball it's going to throw at you. But in June last year, through meeting USAID and TFO Canada, I met people from IDH. IDH is from Europe. We have established, I'm proud to say that we are one of the founders of Southern African Food System Alliance, which got a goal that in next 10 years change the procurement that we're doing right now. Our company currently imports about 80% of our goods from the rest of the world. And our aim is in the next 10 years to procure 80% of our requirements from SADC region. So it's a big task ahead of us. And hopefully that procurement that we're going to do from SADC is going to land up on USA market. It's not yet, even though that we are FDA registered and we're ready for exporting to US. But being a spice company that focusing mostly on paprika and chili, we're dealing mostly with food producers. We're not, even though that we got our retail brand trademark registered, we don't produce anything right now. Our biggest clients are companies type of Tiger Brands, Oceana Group. When it comes, for example, purchasing chili sauce, you can take any brand from any South African supermarket shelves and you'll find our chili inside of that can. So same applies to curry for Tiger Brands and things like that. So that's what we do. Boutique spice company with big plans for the future.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Serge. So Anita, just to target you on a question now, like, you know, using these B2B matchmaking programs, how do you decipher which is the right fit for your business? If I come to you and I say, Anita, I think you should chat to this company, what turns you to say, okay, I think I want to meet with them and they look like the right kind of company I want to deal with?
So for us, it's very specific criteria because we sit in a very unique situation. Our company is a one that manages all the touch points of any group or manufacturing product that we choose to bring in. So one of the key things for us is we need to take exclusive. And the reason being is we do the importing, we do the warehousing, the sales, we set up the distributors, sub-distributors, we carry the replenishment. So we like to have management of all of the touch points to keep the price integrity. So one of the key criteria for us is exclusive. We also are very strong in building the brands. I'm kind of glad that Florentina went ahead of us because she basically captured all that we take care of. The account she listed, the method of how these buyers think, they're all part of our portfolio. We work with all of these distributors, sub-distributors, ethnic, mainstream. So we're very versed in this. So for our criteria, we do follow the basics. We have to make sure that we're exclusive. They have to be compliant to be able to be imported into the US. So compliance has to be met. Audits need to be updated because when you go into mega giants such as Walmart or Costco, Target, you have to make sure that the compliance are met. We also look at the packaging because there are specifics that's needed in order for us to be able to import for Canada and for the US. We also look at costing. Costing is very key for us because it does have to be competitive. We do an extensive review of product and due diligence before signing on a brand. So we work in different categories: food, beverage, health, beauty, snacks. We're very broad in the spectrum, but these criteria have to be met. Exclusive is definitely maybe the most important. We can work with people to help to get compliant. We can work with people with packaging and to cater their product to carry to market. But exclusive is one we would not waver from, because we want to be able to see manufacturers abroad maximize and get their cost value. If you go to several different distributors, you end up having overlapping in the market, and that's not something that we want to cater to. One quick point I did want to make, being a veteran of all of the trade shows, Expo West, Fancy Food Show, a good suggestion is put your catalog and your information on QR codes. Buyers love that because they can scan you and keep you in the phone. You also can capture them as well that way. So it's just a little go-to to put everything on a QR code, and that makes sure that your information is saved by them as well. So it's just a little tidbit for you guys.
Thanks. That's a great point, Anita. And I would also say, make sure to, if you don't know how to make a QR code, let me know. I know it can be frustrating. We've got people who can help you with that. But get a QR code and put it on your stand, put it on your info counter so someone can scan it when they come to your show. As mentioned, so many people are not carrying business cards at the moment. It's going to be frustrating for you as well, not just for them. So make sure you've got a business card, but if they don't, they've got somewhere to get your, send their information or connect with you on LinkedIn or whatever other platform you want them to link onto. So just Swaroop, in your experience, what are the key questions that you asking for of people and exporters when you're sitting with them in front of a meeting? What are you saying to them you need to know about them to make you decide what to do with them if they are potential?
So there are three key criteria which we always look at any exporter to like when we want to engage with them. First is the quality of the product. When I speak to any supplier, if the price is another key factor, like because most of the buyer know what they are going to buy and what will be the price point. Like it doesn't have to be exact, but if the price is like say 50% on other side, either low or high, immediately I figure it out. I think this is not the right fit for us. We move on. Third is consistency. Consistency in the sense like if I deal with this exporter, is he going to provide me the product throughout the year, next year, few years? Reason for that is like if I introduce that product to my customer and if I don't get a product next month, I'm not going to deal. That is not going to work for my customers, as well as that will be like not right. So these are the key things which we look at any supplier, like any supplier to get onboarded with us.
Awesome. Thanks, Swaroop. So, I mean, that's a key thing. And I often see it at events around the world, and people come through that they don't know what the value of their product is in a market and what it's being sold at. And that's a huge red flag for any buyer. If you go way below the price point, even though you might have an amazing quality, they're going to go, oh, there's something wrong here. It's there's other freight charge that's not included, something with customs, and they haven't included that, or it's a super low quality product and it's not something we're looking at. Or if you go way over the price, obviously they're going to jump and say, hey, you're not the right guy for us. We'll move on to the next person. So, you have to be realistic with it, and you can do a lot of research before you go. Please do, before you go out to the event, make sure you understand what your products are selling for in the market. And if your product is still low, way lower than everyone, you've got a good reason why your product is lower and that your quality is in a certain way. Obviously, buyers love that, but they are going to ask you, what the reason is for your product being at a certain price. So make sure you have a great, and even if it's more expensive, maybe there's something very special. Maybe there's gold in your product, but let them know that you've got something like that, and it's something that they can understand and then take into consideration. And then Serge, just for you, you know, within your meetings that you're having, like what are some examples of challenges that you faced that, you know, you started being super interested in this product, but then it was something that said, hey, wait, it's not right. And how did you overcome this? How did you get over those humps?
Yeah, as any other business, if business was easy, everybody would have done it. And also they say as well, especially being in this region, they say life in Africa is not for sissies, but somebody has to do it. So it's the biggest challenge in Africa is to choose the right partners that can deliver actually that you require, and that consistency is important. And when we're talking about consistency, we're not talking only about quality of the product, packaging, and whatever else comes, but you need to be consistent on price. I know that that's the hardest thing to do, especially with logistical problems that you got in Africa. Sometimes you, and because even though the world have changed since COVID, we're still buying just in time, you know, because it doesn't matter how deep pocket you got, the pocket got a bottom, and when you reach the bottom, you need to make other plans. So you can't stop production, you can't stop progressing, you got to have a product that you require on time when you require, and that's the hardest thing to do. So that's why I've chosen, like I'm doing next week, I'm spending a week in Madagascar, even though I have met few people in March with Swaroop last year in Cape Town away from Madagascar. I'm going to see for myself. That's what I've done with Zambia, that's what I've done with Zimbabwe, Botswana. We got a joint venture in Nigeria as well. So the best way is to go and see for yourself and see who you're dealing with, see the facilities, see the product. Give you Zambia as a perfect example. Through B2B, a person that I met through B2B last year on Sitex tells me there's 8,000 tons of paprika in Zambia. I could not believe it. And I went and saw it with my own eyes. And we bought already couple of truckloads from there. We satisfied the product. That was a test trial last year. This year, we're hoping that we're going to go take about 3,500 to 4,000 tons of the very same producer's paprika. So, yeah, I've chosen, or perhaps because that's what I learned through my career, I'd rather go slow and steady than go and rush into something that by the end of the day might cost you money or at least leave you disappointed in your expectations. So we have chosen a few partners that we think we can work throughout Africa with. One is in Malawi, another one in Zambia, hoping to find some good partners in Madagascar next week. Zimbabwe is our next door. And of course, South Africa. In South Africa, we got initiative with West Coast Farmers, with Northwest Province already. So yeah, our goals will be achieved, but rather steady than rush and be sorry.
Awesome. So Sergio, that's a great point as well. So I'm always a big advocate for also looking at how you can bring certain buyers back into your market. Get them to come and see you in your factories. They need to understand that you've got capacity and you've got product. Being out at an international trade show is great. It gives you exposure to lots of people. But if there's a possibility to bring that buyer back into the market and come and show them what you've got in your country, that is key. And this goes for various associations around the continent. I know Wesgrow is doing a lot in the Cape with bringing buyers back, and a few others are as well. But really, you know, you can see what it's done for Serge. You know, he goes out to these markets and it's changed his mind. He goes and looks for paprika in Zambia and he finds a whole lot of other things that can possibly come out of that region. He's got to head over to Madagascar, and there's vanilla in Madagascar, but there's also peppercorn and various other things that are coming out of that region. So much out there. But if you hadn't gone out there, you know, there's confidence in that region. I'm sure, Serge, you wouldn't have grown that confidence. Said, I believe it now. There is paprika. You can tell people that they've got paprika, but they might mean 100 kilograms and not 100,000 kilograms. So it's really key that there's proof and actually seeing it. So,
and just in relation to United States market, as you could see from presentation earlier, there's a lot of requirements regarding labeling regulations and things like that. We are fortunate. We are FSSC 22000 accredited facility, kosher, halal. We got all the sort of things, even that certain things like that becoming ridiculous. We got a certification for responsible sourcing and the rest that today's markets like. And I don't blame a good businessman. Always wants to make more business, more money, bigger production and things like that. So you hear all sorts of stories. No problem with this, there's no problem with that. But push comes to shove. At the end of the day, like in our case, we are the gatekeepers to big buyers, like Tiger Brands, for example. So if something goes wrong with the product and things are not really dotted and everything checked and double checked and triple checked, they're going to knock on our doors. They're not going to knock on doors of our suppliers wherever they are around Africa. So it's very important that you know who you're dealing with and what you're buying, because one of these days you might have dirty shoes in containers instead of peanuts.
Awesome. Thanks, Serge. Swarb, I want to just push back on you on something here. Maybe you can help. We've got a question saying, how do you go about costing for the US and Canada market? Where should people start? How do they find that price point? What's your suggestion there?
Yes, the thing is, there are multiple ways you look at it. First of all, you know your product, where it is getting sold. And you, like as a supplier, you need to decide, do you want to go at the retail level? You want to go at distribution level, or you want to give it directly to the importer level? And there are different price point at each level. And what normally, like as an importer, I get so many requests every day asking, like, they will come up with some product and they will text me every day saying that this product is available and this is the price. If I like the price, like normal, that's what happens. I will just reply back to them, or I will say, no, the price is very high. So I think if you know where your product fits in, try to contact as many people as you can, and the data is available consistently on export websites, or if you know a specific retailer you are going to target, or you are going to go to any specific distributor. Try to get because the price what the supplier tends to offer and what price is in the market, there is always a difference, and that's where the challenge happens. And you can get that like by interacting with some of your buyers, or if you think there are potential buyers.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Swarb. That helps a lot. I mean, yeah, there's a host of information that you can find. Start with Google. Ask them, what is my product worth on the market? Start there, and that'll give you a baseline, and then go and have a look on various other platforms. So there's lots of online platforms at the moment that you can sell your products from, and you're able to actually go onto those and have a look at things. Something like Range Me, you can get onto and have a look at cost of products, and there's various others as well. So jump on that and have a look at those. Then have a look at the retailer as well. See what the retailer is selling their product for to people, and then you can work back between those numbers and make sure that you get to the right price from there. But it is, as Swarb says, it's a lot of that's the hard thing, finding the sweet spot. But you find that by speaking to people, researching, and putting the effort into to find that information.
Understand your customer. If you're selling it to retail, the price might be different. When you're selling it to a distributor, the price might be different. And if you're selling it to importer, the price might be different. So there will be different price point. And I think when you talk to, even if you go to a trade show, and if you want to understand, like when the customer comes to you and say, I'm a retailer, you need to be aware what price point you are going to give it to him, rather than like when the distributor walks into your.
Well, there's one other further point to that, because if you're selling to Kroger, we actively sell to Kroger on a national level. So giving costing to Kroger, you have to manage DPI and KHE as a distributor in costing. So there's standardized margins from the the manufacturer to the importer to the distributor to the retailer. But there's a gray area depending on the type of distributor, because you can have an independent distributor that takes a smaller margin and has less chargebacks. And then you have the national distributors such as UNFI and KE that take the larger margin because of their full service. They also have a lot of chargebacks. So working with teams of people that understand those fees helps you when you're putting your costing together. So our suggestion, and I'm sure that you guys may agree with me on this, is always lead if you're dealing with a distributor with your lowest or importer cost, because then the distributor could manage the margins in building and developing the channel from there. And each market bears a different margin. Club stores have a lower, retailers have a higher. Target has a high one. So it just depends on which market you're going to, but you should have your out the door cost and know how to research the market from there. So partnering with the right people to do your importing is essential, because that's how you develop your brand and be able to maximize your costing structure as well.
Thanks, Anita. And just explain chargeback for the group.
Chargeback is when you're dealing with large big box retailers, Walmart, Costco, Target. Selling the product is part A, but you also have to manage certain chargebacks. So if the product expires out on the shelf and doesn't sell, you have to be able to take that as a chargeback. They'll charge it back to you or your distributor, which comes back to you. Secondary, if the product is slow moving, they may ask for a TPR, which is a temporary price reduction, which is to help to drive the sale of the product to get it out of the door. Sometimes there could be overage or spoilage. That's also chargeback. So for our team, what we provide for each of our clients is, for each account we sell to or we go to list to, we give our manufacturers the list of the charges associated with that account to make sure that the costing that we go to the market with is able to bear those chargebacks. So working with the large distributors such as the UNFI or KE is wonderful in growth, but where you have the struggle is knowing how to price to be able to buffer their cost. So for example, if you're doing Kroger and you're going into a new distribution center, each distribution center per SKU is 18% charge on your first invoice. That's something that you have to work with people that are experts to know how to help to manage your, it's called a value chain. So we help our groups put together a value chain so they're able to know that the cost that they're charging can suffice and bear these costs at the end. So chargebacks is something for major retailers and large distributors you have to have embedded into your costing to be able to manage these costs. Marketing support as well. Marketing is key and essential for things like different things such as shelf talkers, wobblers, having shippers, which is a cardboard display so you stand outside of the shelf. Some of them like ad display or money towards end caps. Costco has a program, it's $1,000 per store per end cap, which is essential if you're launching a new product, because you want consumers to see that product. Because if you don't sell $1,000 per week per store in Costco, they'll end up discounting your product out the door and you can't keep the floor space. So I would say for all of the manufacturers, it's essential you work and partner with people that have that expertise, that help you to develop and build your brand the right way into the market to keep you on the shelf. Because placing you on the shelf is the first phase, but having the second repeat order is actually your success. That's when you've landed your spot and you're able to handle the replenishment.
Awesome. Thanks, Anita. Okay. There was one question, someone asking about the B2B program, linking sellers and custom brokers in the US. It is in the focus of the program. Our real focus is to connect you with buyers, but you will be approached by a lot of custom brokers when you go to that event. They do walk the show, so keep an ear out for them.
Don't forget about some food producers too. I need them some too. I need to sell my paprika to USA.
Awesome.
Definitely talk after this then.
Good.
Great. So yeah, we finished up now with the panel. Thank you very much for your time. Any last comments? Serge, you want to make a comment there? In anything people should know?
Always, I think I've spoken to your team already. I'm in two minds if I should be on Food Fancy Show or not. If nothing else, you're probably going to see me over there walking around and putting my nose in other people's businesses, which I like to do. I enjoy the most. That part of their shows. I don't know about the panel, but I do. I like meeting people, talking lots of nonsense most of the time. But we won't be on the Food Fancy Show as exhibitors because we, as I said, we are a very specific company when it comes to what we do and what we provide. So I don't think we would generate any business by having a stand over there. But wish you luck all to all of you that are attending. I think it's a great market to be in. We definitely going to be entering that market very soon. Yeah, if you need any further assistance from me, you're welcome to get in touch with me. I'm not quite sure, same as I said to all these people that I got a business cards from, I'm not sure that I will be able to help, but at least I'll try.
And one key thing for everybody being on the manufacturing side and me being a buyer, I've traveled globally, we represent brands, I've sit in front of the buyers. The key thing is knowing your product. What is the story of your product? Why did you bring this product to the market? People are passionate these days on good product, clean product, natural product. Know your region, know what your region specializes in. Capitalize on that because there may be many teas in the market, but there could be something specific to your region that sets your product apart. So know your brand product story and explain that to buyers and let them know why yours can outbeat the current competitor. That is a very key part in when you're presenting at these shows is understanding your product, your story, and what sets yours apart from others.
Thanks, Anita. Anything last words from yourself, Swaroop?
Yeah, I totally agree with Anita. I think that's a key point what she brought. Like if you put your product and explain why it is better, I think most of the buyers will be more interested to look at the product and put it into the market. But I think, yeah, that's a very good point. And I think everybody else, all the suppliers should focus on that. I think that will be the key.
Brilliant. Thanks, sir.
Thanks. And I think I will see everybody in the
You'll see them all
in New York. It's in June 24th, right?
June 23rd, is it 23rd to 25th?
23rd to 25, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And then just one last question, Steffi, just to tackle that for you. Typical margin expectations, they got to vary. If you're doing a commodity and you do a finished product, your typical margin expectations are going to vary completely. So you really have to do your own research there and get deep into your product. But speak to people. This is also a big part of being at Summer Fancy Food. One thing I always tell all the exhibitors that I take overseas, get off your stand and go and walk in front of your competitor and ask them questions. They have to say yes to you. They always have to say yes. They're at a show, so they're going, yes, yes. They've got to be positive on your stand. So you can be kind of cheeky and you can go ask people other questions. So do that. Ask people around you as well. Make sure you chat to the different people that come and visit your stand. If they're keen to buy from you, ask them. Be straight. Say, what do you expect from me? What do you need from me? What prices are you getting? They might lowball you, but a lot of the time they're going to give you some good advice.
And I can help with the margins depending on what the commodity is. We can give some assistance on that as well because we're really versed with the different sectors and categories.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you very much, Anita, Serge, Swaroop. Looking forward to seeing you. Serge, I'm expecting you to be in New York. I hope you've already booked your flights.
Yeah, no,
Good place to meet a lot of people in one place. We've got 165 African exhibitors at the event, and there's a huge amount that are spice companies. So it's really a good place for you to be.
My plan beginning of the year was to be there, but now I got AGM with the Southern African Food Safety Alliance on 21st. But yeah, I might just pop in for a day.
Awesome. Great. And Florentina, thank you very much for joining us and giving us some great insight. Yeah, really excited for your support out there. And yeah, getting some great leads and buyers into this program. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I know it's gone a bit longer. We only meant to be an hour, ended up being nearly 2. But this is how these programs work. And thanks for your patience, Anita, Serge, and Swaroop. Yeah, lots of contacts coming your way over the next few weeks. Keep an eye out for those and introductions. And yeah, very keen to see how we can yeah, get more business coming from Africa into the US market.
Well, thank you, Rex and team. From our side, we really appreciate all that you all are doing. It's incredible how much you have taken to put this event together. We will enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Great. Well,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Lovely day.
Don't forget to book my ticket.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.